We're live. Kai Havertz is out with an injury. We don't know how long it's for. We don't know if Arsenal are going to sign anyone. They needed to sign anyone before the Kai Havertz injury. Or not anyone, someone. They needed Marty, my head's a mess. because I'm not even Kai Havertz's biggest. And welcome to AFTV, by the way, everyone. We're here for a live stream. I'm here with Marty. Welcome, Marty.
Thank you, James. Thank you, mate. I was waiting for this this big build up of this intro that you was going to smash across the stream.
No. Straight into it. Kai, sorry, because I've actually been very calm all window.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had a bad window.
No, I
But
don't either.
I started to lose it when I heard that we're not really going to bother for Eze. We're maybe looking for a left winger, but we'll see. We needed someone anyway pre-Kai Havertz injury, and now we definitely do. And I don't think we're going to do anything. So if I'm honest, it's quite a frustrated James you have on stream, but we'll get into it in good detail. How are you, Marty? How's everything going? How's life? Welcome. It's our first stream together, and I am happy about that, despite my tone. But you good, man?
James, this is like a first date, me and you.
Yeah, sure.
No, it's good. It's a pleasure to be here, mate. And yeah, welcome everyone to AFTV live with me and James. And yeah, really looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to your tactical analysis, as you always do around these transfer situations. You always manage to break it down impeccably with your delectable skill and integrity. So yeah, can't wait, mate. Really can't wait. Looking forward to this.
I appreciate that a lot, but I'm not really feeling particularly tactical about this. I don't know what to say. Havertz is out. Well, no, look, I've got some thoughts around the signing and the particular signing we need to make, and I guess like we can delve into tactics in that sense. But a lot of me is just looking at the club like again, here we are. You know, talk of an unprecedented summer. Talk of wanting a starting left winger, and Madueke was just like a third attacker, but they wanted a striker and someone else too. Talk of Eze being really high up there, wanting to add creativity. Like, there's just so much I feel frustrated about. But let's actually calm everything down. Let's just bring everything down. Let's bring the temperature down for a sec. What is the news for anyone jumping in for the first time? Kai Havertz has a knee injury. We don't know how long it's going to be. David Ornstein, though, has gone as far as to say that it's a spell on the sidelines. I don't think you say that if it's not in the months, but that's just me speculating. Arsenal will look to sign an attacker as cover. That is what he's basically said. If you'd like the exact tweet, because I've got it right here, got to be patient with me for 1 sec. Set for a spell out with knee injury. Assessments on 26-year-old German international are at an early stage, so prognosis and duration is unclear. But Arsenal are actively exploring the transfer market for signing to strengthen attack and provide cover. What's your take on it, Marty? Give me your reaction to everything before I kind of go on about.
So look, there's a few ways you could look at this, and the way that I personally have chosen to look at this in this situation is, look, I'd never want obviously any player to get an injury, and it's such a shame because Kai Havertz coming back from a long layoff injury. I mean, we missed him from like January all the way through to basically just coming back at the end of May, and it looked after United at Old Trafford on Sunday, when he takes Gyökeres off after 60, 70 minutes, and you think, now we've got two number 9s. You know, we've got this ability to change a game. And look, when Kai Havertz came on, he came on and did a job, and that job was exactly what we want him to do, and that's hold up the ball, get around the pitch, cause a bit of mischief. You know, get in front of everyone, challenge the goalkeeper, challenge the back line, try, be a handful in the air and try and retain the ball as much as possible. Because look, let's be honest, it wasn't a pretty game, but we scraped through it. So having this situation with Kai Havertz now, with the knee injury, it forces us. The transfer window is still open now. The Eze situation, obviously, where that went dead was because obviously with the emergence of Max Dowman and Ethan Nwaneri, and the club looked at that. You know, we had obviously fine, and Eze in Odegaard. We've got Odegaard in that position. So it was so many people, essentially so many players in that one position. Now, what it opens up is, look, if we don't get anyone, I mean, imagine the window to slam shut. I think this is the second part that I wanted to explain. If the transfer window slammed shut yesterday or 2 days ago or a week ago, and this injury to Kai Havertz, which injuries in football do happen, as we all well know, if this injury happened then, I think it would be a very different situation. The bottom line is this is going to force Arsenal to dip into the transfer market once again, because it looks very much, and it has done for the last week after these games. Okay, they'll see how these games go, but we're kind of, the business is basically done. There's not long left on it. As long as the squad stays fit and it starts firing on all cylinders, we're kind of where we need to be. Why do we need to go and spend 50, 60 million quid on another player when we've got ample, we've got guys coming through the youth system, we've got players on the bench that can come on and do a job. Like on Sunday, what we saw is you can do 2 for 2. You can bring on Lewis Skelly and Timber, replace them for Calafiori and Ben White. And the same with when Kai Havertz came on with Noni, with Madueke. And, we've got that, we're starting to have that depth on the bench, but that depth on the bench is only there as long as those players are fit. Now, the Kai Havertz injury, if that doesn't get sorted, then, God forbid, an injury happens to Gyökeres, we are in exactly the same situation as we were Leicester versus Arsenal when we're forced to bring Mikel Merino on as a number 9, which he did a fantastic job for what he is, and I think he's a fantastic player, I really do. But it would be absolute insanity to go into this season without covering that position in a full integral way.
Yeah, but I want to pick up some things you said there. So the club don't think Eze is a deal they should do because they've got Odegaard there, followed by Waneri, followed by Max Dowman.
Yeah.
You can add more. You can add Fabio Vieira and you can add Kai Havertz, who can all play in that 10 position. But the one thing all 5 of them have in common is they prefer to drift to the right, and they're all left-footed. Eze is a left-sided player, right-footed. It would have given us a balance. It would have given us something different, a different problem, unlocked doors in different ways in different sides of the pitch. I don't understand for 1 second why the emergence of Waneri has any part to play in what we do with Eberechi Eze. When I've watched title contenders, when I watch title challengers, right, I've never looked at Man City and gone, that's weird they signed Bernardo Silva, because they had Phil Foden coming through. They didn't care. They added them and they let Phil Foden thrive in an environment that had like-minded players of the quality he wanted to get to. And I don't understand why Arsenal aren't driving that, because how special for a Max Dowman or a Waneri, who are very, very young, especially Max Dowman, but Ethan is 18 himself, to look around and go, there's Eberechi Eze. He scored an FA Cup final winner, for Crystal Palace. He is in the history books at Selhurst Park. He's an England international. I want to be where he is. But you know what's beautiful? I could play with him.
Yeah.
I'm not, and this idea that it's like, but we don't want to block Ethan's path. Can we not get more creative than this? Like Liverpool, they had a Mane, Salah, Firmino front 3. And granted, there wasn't always that same quality, but there were other players of similar quality at times that could come in. And you'd go, okay, wow, they've not skipped a beat. And I just wonder why we don't look at the thing is we've kind of moved away from the Havertz thing. We'll bring it back to the Havertz thing. But talking about Arsenal's window in general and falling short, or let's say stopping at the point of going, I think we're happy with what we got pre-Havertz injury, isn't good enough for me. I think Arsenal have done some very good business this window, but unless you do it all, you fall short for me.
Definitely, and I completely get your point, James. But then there's talk of still after this Havertz of Vlahovic. Now, one thing you've got to understand is, let's say with this number 9 situation, it's going to be even harder, and it is, to bring in a number 9 to a club when you already have 2 in Havertz. I mean, it was, let's be honest about this situation. It was only last week that Arsenal fans were turning around saying that, is Arteta going to play Havertz? Is he going to play Gyökeres? Gyökeres isn't going to get the game time because Havertz is going to get it. And now look at the situation we're in. Football can change in a heartbeat, and that's just the nature of it, whether it's injuries, whether it's transfers, it's just situations within the team. Now,
So what do you? Sorry, sorry to cut you, Marty. So
go for it.
do you think Arsenal will, and do you think Arsenal should go for an out-and-out number 9? Because you're talking much more about a Vlahovic type on loan or something like that. Do you think it's a case where Havertz is injured, therefore we got to go get a striker? Is that how you look at it?
Look, I personally, the Juventus situation, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Juventus, I've seen reports that they want 12 million quid or 20, up to 20 million quid, when this is a player that was valued at 40, 45. Do I think they'll send him out on loan to risk getting not a lot for him in a year's time? No, I don't. I think they'll be looking, if that's the player that Arsenal are going to sort of buy, I think they'll want to do a straight deal. And I think there'll be good numbers. But again, this goes back to Eberechi Eze. For me, he's that perfect guy. He can play across the front three. You can play him as a false 9. You can play him as a 10. You can play him on the left. You can play him on the right. Does he naturally prefer to be on the left? Yeah, he does. He comes in from the left. He will come in across from the left-hand side, and he'll move across to the right-hand side. And he's just one of those players that, put him in the right team with the right options, he's devastating. He's clinical. He's fascinating, and he's fast forward. I still, look, I've been asked a lot of questions about this deal, but I think this definitely reopens that deal, because it was my understanding that when Tottenham came in for it, it sort of closed it. I heard a few people, and a few people I know at Tottenham turned around and said, "Look, no, he's going to be on a Monday." This was last week. On Monday, he's going to be our player, and I really think this opens up that whole door. So for me, he's the perfect player. If you buy a Lookman, or there's a variety of players that you can bring on the left hand side. Rodrigo, they are for me purely that kind of player. The only player that we have used as a false 9 is Trossard, who's just, funnily enough, re-signed a new deal yesterday, I believe. So yeah, but then we're covering old ground. We did this last season. We this situation. Otherwise, we end up redlining Gyökeres. It will be a baptism of fire. He's going to have to start very quickly and hit the ground running. He's going to play every minute of every game. And then what happens is, by the time Kai Havertz is fit, or hopefully Gabriel Jesus, potentially, Gyökeres could be injured, and then he could be out for the rest of the season. Then we're relying on, it's a merry-go-round. I mean, it's definitely something that needs to be resolved. But look, I think definitely we're in a situation where the transfer, for me, where I'm not too worried. The transfer window's open still, and we're going to be forced to do something about it. At least we have that luxury. If by the end of the transfer window, like you said, when David Ornstein suggests that he's going to be out for a period on the sidelines, that also suggests to me that it's not going to be a matter of days or weeks. It's going to be a matter of months. Also, when you have these hamstring, like these big injuries, also a multitude of minor injuries come with it, because you have to work. You're off and you're working that muscle. It's all the other muscles that during normal game time that would get worked. And as much as a football club will try and keep you in good shape, it's not. There's nothing like actual game time, being on the pitch, running around, covering the grass, and keeping fit in that way, keeping match fit. And that's why being match fit, that's why pre-season is such a thing, and that's why when you're ready for the main season, that is also such a thing, because you're running on games.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the Eze thing, I think Eze's perfect.
Yeah.
I've said it 2,000 times. I think you've got a player there who more naturally plays in the 10.
Yeah.
Can play off the left, can drift inside off the left. I still think he's good enough to play as a touchline winger running at fullbacks. I think you could drop him false 9. I think you could even play him on the left so that Martinelli or Trossard could go up front. And then when Havertz returns, if Gyökeres is firing, if Martinelli or Trossard are looking good on the left, or even Madueke, then Eze can even compete in the 10. If Odegaard's brilliant, then you got the two of them with Zubimendi and Rice competing for the 6. This is what I want. I want competition pushed across the pitch
Mm.
with minimal signings. But I don't mean minimal. I mean one player in Eze can have an impact on 3, 4, 5 positions. I think he's perfect because of his quality, but I think he's perfect because of the balance he brings to our squad and the skill set he has that we fundamentally don't have in our team. So I think Eze's a must sign. I really fear that Arsenal might go, oh, let's get a 6-month loan, or let's get just a stopgap, someone who can do a job for the season while Havertz is out, appeases the fan base because we've got a left winger. The market isn't great, so we'll just go do what we can. I really, really fear that. Now I'm just watching. I went on Twitter, and it looks like it was Ugarte and a moment with him that got him the injury. Kai Havertz, I think it was about the 93rd, 94th minute when Arsenal were defending, and he came to kind of win a ball, but he kind of got clattered by Ugarte. It's not the worst foul in the world, but it was definitely late. There must have been contact on the knee, or we seem to have landed poorly. But I don't remember him coming off. He played those last minute or two. So I wonder if he felt something, was just trying to get through because Arsenal had probably used all their subs. I don't really know. But it's a shame. And I look, at the moment, I'm 50-50 on whether Arsenal sign someone. I think the way Ornstein was briefed there suggests to me that they are looking. And it was also made clear that Jesus, even though he posted on Instagram that he's wearing his football boots again, he's not really close to a return either. So I am concerned, if I'm honest, about our options. And the numbers too. Do you think, we'll talk about players in a sec in particular, but do you think Arsenal will sign someone between now and the end of the window?
I do, yeah. I do now. I was confident I was very confident of the Eze signing, but that did call. But now, definitely, I think it's something's got. We've got to. It's gonna boil down to how long is Havertz out for, and that's it. And what you don't want to be doing is rushing players back. I mean, it's something Arsene Wenger used to do, and it used to cause a multitude of problems. You rush them back. We've done it, and they get injured again, and then they're out for even longer. And all they are is just a big hazard on the wage bill, and they're just it's just aggro that you don't need, essentially. I think maybe we'll start looking down the loan options and see, but thankfully
so they're all going to be so uninspiring. So which of these names do you want?
I know, it's like, oh,
Nico Jackson? Do you want Jackson?
No.
Do you want
Nkunku? Do you know what, just quickly, who I would like?
Go on.
Mateta, the thing when he went to Palace, right, is he took...
That's a £50 million signing.
Yeah, I know. And then when everyone's fit, what do you do? Essentially you're bringing Mateta, and the thing is, he plays every minute of every game pretty much for Palace, especially now. Prize him away from Palace is going to be pretty impossible because Eddie Nketiah is out for another 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. So getting him from Crystal Palace as well, and obviously Mark Gay looks to be going as well. They've got European football, and they've clearly come out and said that both Eze and Gay will be playing on Thursday night. So getting a player that's who I would like. Is that going to happen? No, it'd be completely unrealistic.
But that's getting another out and out 9. Like,
yeah.
I like Mateta, but he's going to cost 50 million quid to hopefully be behind Gyökeres, because we want Gyökeres scoring goals. But otherwise, one of them is a summer signing that's not having the impact we'd want for the money we've spent. I mean, I think so. Jackson I mentioned, Nkunku. Would you like Nkunku?
No. I mean,
Garnacho.
No.
Anthony.
No.
Jamie Vardy.
No.
I hate all these options.
Yeah,
I hate all of them. If we're talking about the loan market and the cheap market, I hate all these options.
James, if you're going for Premier League titles and Champions League titles and want to win FA Cups and Carabao Cups is a different thing. You can't be doing business like that. You've got to be serious. But then there is also this devil's advocate thing. It's we're essentially talking about a backup for Gyökeres. That's what we're doing. So does this force our hand to then go and buy Eze or Rodrigo to sort out that left-hand side so that it's done and dusted? And then, God forbid, if Gyökeres gets injured, or maybe if he's redlining at the end of the game, and I hate to say it, you bring Marino on at the end of a game to just give him some minutes, or if you're 3-0 up, you take him off. This is what you know, because going and spending 50 million quid on an out and out 9 is probably going to put Gyökeres's nose out of joint a bit. And I think it's just I think it's unrealistic. I really do.
I wouldn't get an out and out 9. I'd go and get. I mean, I always thought a 10 was what we needed most, but I could stomach the left winger because I think we need an upgrade on the left wing, but I liked Eze because he could do both, even though he's probably a 10. But now, because this Havertz injury, I'm kind of more leaning towards go get a Semenyo. I don't know what the terms of his contract are. Some people said it's a 1-year extension with better pay. I don't know if there's a release clause. I have no idea. But if you only got a Semenyo or a Lookman, and I think then you've got, what have you got? Saka. I'm going to make something up. Saka, Gyökeres, Semenyo is your front three with a backup of Martinelli, Trossard, Madueke. And you've still got Dalman to come in whenever he could play in the front three if needed. You got a lot of good options. You're moving into midfield. I'd like a 10, but you got Erdegaard, Waneri, Norgard, Zubimendi, Rice, Marino, and you could use Lewis Skelly there. That's 7 players. I feel pretty good about them. I'd like a right-footed creative player, but we don't have that. The back four, you've got Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, and Zinchenko at left back. You've got Kivior and Gabriel at centre back. You've got Saliba, Mosquera, and then White and Timber at right back. I think the squad, it won't be an unprecedented summer, but I'd have said, okay, that's a good / very good summer. But I just wish we had that superstar. Eze's a superstar. Rodriguez's a superstar. Isak's a superstar. I think Zubimendi is. I think Zubimendi is a superstar, to be fair. And Gyökeres, superstar numbers, superstar celebration, superstar kind of aura around him. But I don't know if he's quite a superstar in terms of will those goals translate into this league and all that. So let's see. But I just wish we'd. People are mentioning Morgan Rogers. I'd like Morgan Rogers. If it's not Eze, I'd really like Morgan Rogers. Those are the players that are coming to my mind and how I would deal with it.
I think that question as well, and you just mentioned one player that completely would change the game. And obviously, there's a situation going on at Newcastle United with Isak. Now, do you just go and break the bank, rob the bank, and and smash down 140 million quid, 150 million quid, and say, look, you're our guy, come here, because there's an issue going on at Newcastle, which is going to make it very hard for the player to play at St James's Park next season. Now, obviously, Liverpool
you do everything to try and get Isak.
Me personally, yeah, I would. Why? Because he plays with Gyökeres for Sweden. You can play Gyökeres, Isak, and Saka across the front three, and that would be so dynamic, so unbelievable. And that is the sort of front three you need to win a Premier League, to win a Champions League. I 100%. That is the option. That's the ultimate option. Will it happen? I don't think it will. No, I'd be very, very surprised.
I just don't see it happening. I mean, and also Isak on the left. I mean, I feel like they'd be in direct competition, Isak and Gyökeres. But look, I know what you mean in the sense that Isak's desperate to leave. Like Newcastle probably just want anything but to sell him to Liverpool. But I just think he's got his heart set on that move. We would never pay that money. Liverpool would pay that money. We've got a 9. I just think for like a million reasons it won't happen. But I know what you mean. I'd love to see that ambition from Arsenal. I'd love to see
a million reasons, 150 million reasons would certainly, change that situation, and that's it. But will Arsenal Football Club, being as Arsenal Football Club are, I can't see him putting that sort of money down for one player. I just really can't. I just can't.
Some comments coming in. We'll go to super chats in a second, and we'll talk other options. Tony says, "What are you on about? Eze's number 10. We have 3 number 10s already." Tony, look, with all due respect, that's your opinion. That's fair enough, but I don't know how else to phrase it. We do have 3 number 10s, but it's like saying I've got 3 things on my plate: chicken, chicken, and chicken. It's like, do we want a balanced meal? Do we want? Yeah, it's a full plate. Yeah, there's enough to get you full there. But yes, I like all the chicken that you provided me. But it's like, at what point do we go? There's an imbalance in the squad. There's an imbalance. Like we have 3 10 types. Actually, I've listed 5 that all want to play football in the same area of the pitch. And Eze gives us something different. Imagine Eze on the left, but actually not as a touchline winger, drifting in like Smith Rowe did a few years ago, with Calafiori bombing up and down the other side. Lewis Skelly could do the same. Why not? And then people go, but Lewis Skelly's an inverted fullback and Calafiori's a centre back. They're never going to do that. Guardiola coached Gvardiol into becoming a bombing, overlapping fullback, scoring like their most important goals at the Bernabeu and in the run-in. Like, coach these players. I don't like. And okay, Eze's not an out touchline winger. Does he have a brilliant first touch? Yes. Does he have some pace? Absolutely. Is he a great dribbler and very good one-on-one v people? Yes. So why could he not be a touchline winger? Why couldn't we take his raw ingredients, where he's been used predominantly as a left 10 in a 3-4-3, and turn him into the left winger we need? I don't get it. I don't get it. We see players reinvented time and time and time again.
But James, sorry to interrupt you, but if anyone, I watch Crystal Palace quite a lot, and he plays on the left hand side, and he runs into the middle. It's just a lot of people see him scoring his goals from a central position. He's not a classic go down the touch line and cross it in from the left hand side. He'll pick the ball up on the left hand side and he'll cut into the middle, and that's where he finishes, from outside the box, inside the box.
I agree.
That's how he
we
plays.
Could do that, can we?
That's exactly what we're looking for. We don't necessarily need a player like an old school Anders Limpard that's going to run down to the corner flag, or Brian Marwood, and stick the ball in the middle so that Alan Smith can stick it in the back of the net. It's a player that can cover the left hand side and play on the left hand side. But also, look, in today's football, you need versatile players that can play in a multitude of positions. You need players that can play in, that's what I really like about a good example, Mikel Merino. He's a very good squad player, as people say it. I think he's a very important, players like that are very important to clubs like Arsenal Football Club, because of the jobs that they can do.
This comment's coming. Get Dembele, he will come. Now, I think it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, and I don't see us ever getting Dembele. But the wider point here is, let's remember Dembele got turned into a false nine. Everyone said you can't win football with false nine these days. Everyone's moved beyond that. He plays a false nine. He drifts everywhere. A player that was written off. And then it gets me thinking of other examples. Rafinha was moved to the left wing because Yamal developed. And Dembele from false nine and Rafinha from the left wing have done their thing. Why can we never reinvent players? Why does it have to be, well, we're only in the market for a left winger, and if the opportunity comes up, we'll do it. But we don't really think it's out there in the market. It's Eze, coach, like, make it work, adapt the tactics.
But James, you see this point you say about we can't reinvent players. Look, I'll give you 3 players that we've done that with, or 4 players. Lewis Skelly. Everyone's like, oh, he's a 6. He's a 6.
You're right.
But for me personally, honestly, and I've said this time and time again, he's one of the best left backs in the Premier League. Okay, Declan Rice, we play him as an 8. When he plays for England as a 6, he's fantastic. He clears up everything, does it. When we have played him as a 6, and I've watched him at the Emirates live in front of me, there's just something not right quite there. When we play him as an 8, albeit apart from what we saw against United on Sunday, he's absolutely phenomenal. He's a box-to-box midfielder. He covers every blade of grass. He can do the lot. He's got a fantastic attitude. He's rarely injured, touch wood. Again, we've done this with Mikel Merino. We've played, he was bought. I remember, I've just seen on the screen, Ben White. That was another player I was going to say, Ben White, centre-back to right-back. Mosquera, we've bought Mosquera. He can play on the left centre. There's a left centre-back, a right centre-back, and a right-back. We play Timber as a right-back and a left-back. We play Merino in the 6, the 8, the 10, and the 9. Don't forget that. So look, Saka originally was a left back, and now he's one of the best right wingers in the Premier League. So look, we do have this ability. It's not going to work out with every single player, and that's what people have to understand. It's it's horses for courses, and not like listen, we've signed some players at Arsenal Football Club and they haven't worked out, and that there's always that risk. Whenever you're buying any human being to do a job, they might be great at one club, but they might not be any good at another club, and that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So yeah, look, and that's the point that I would look at with that. Is it's just it can be a situation that you just need to get the right players in and work out what the right players are. And I think for me, defensively and in the midfield, we have an absolutely fantastic, a fantastic squad. There's a complete plethora at the back. I mean, there's obviously going to be the outgoings. We've got Zinchenko, who I'd imagine is going to go. Obviously Fabio Vieira, I'd imagine him to leave the club. There's talk of him going to Stuttgart. We do need to have a little clear out, but you know, when I look at this squad, I see a fantastic squad. It's just a shame about this situation now, with the Kai Havertz situation, that we need to get this sorted out. I seem to have lost James. He's gone missing somewhere, so hopefully he'll be back in a minute. I don't know where he's gone, but no doubt we'll see. So I'm just going to read out a few of the super chats that I've got in the a few of the super chats that have come through. So that's one for James, so I'm not going to read that out. Ryan, if you could put a couple of them on the screen, please, that you want me to read out, that'd be absolutely fantastic, and I can go through a couple of those. But I think what I still see with this Arsenal squad, it's a fantastic squad. You know, it's got, you know, there are a lot of options at the back. There are a lot of you know, I cannot personally wait for this Premier League season to get in full flow. I really can't. It's a shame that Kai Havertz has been injured, but look, we have to move on, and I'm sure that Arsenal Football Club will do something about that in the coming weeks. I'd be very surprised if they don't. So let me just read a couple of super chats, James. Right, so where Lee's got, like, James. So would you take Rasmus Højlund from Manchester United? Just a chat there from William. No, I personally would not take Rasmus Højlund from Manchester United. It would be an interesting move for him to come. There's, I think, question marks. One thing I saw about Rasmus Højlund was, for me, at Manchester United, he didn't quite have the service. So he's back in the building. He's gone.
This is so weird. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, James.
Mate, it's the weirdest thing. So I got dumped out of StreamYard, and I thought, okay, that's strange. Maybe my internet's gone down, and every other page was loading except for this to get me back on. So it took me a few minutes. I'm sorry, I'm back.
That's all right, James. I actually kicked you out of StreamYard on purpose so I could take complete control of the stream.
I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you for 1 second. I don't blame you.
He's back in the building.
Oh my God, we have breaking news. Arsenal make move for this is David Ornstein. Arsenal make move for Eberechi Eze, and the 27-year-old wants them. Tottenham lined up deal with Palace today and player, but after Havertz injury, Arsenal now closing in on England international. If he proceeds with choice, Tottenham will pursue other targets.
Do you know what, James? That brings music to my ears, and do you know why?
I've just been going on about it.
Do you know why, James?
I've just been saying it. Yes,
James. Do you know why?
Yes. Thank you.
I have been getting absolutely. I went on the Invincibles, and I've been getting absolutely hammered about this Eberechi Eze deal, saying, "Oh, it's a load of it's on." So, one, I'm pleased it's on, but two, Arsenal Football Club with the player of that caliber in that front three. Wow.
Good. So, and do you know what? And I'm going to be insufferable about this. To everyone in the chat, okay? And to be fair, no one disagreed with me, but I'm going to say it anyway. I've been telling you all, don't go get a 9. Don't go get a left winger. Eze will solve the problems. Thank you to everyone at the football club who sees it the way I see it. Yeah. Arsenal have made a move for Eberechi Eze, according to David Ornstein. Yes, it's real. It's all real. I'm just checking it's real. It is real. It's a real account, 3.8 million followers. Thank you. It was obvious. It was obvious. Like, it was obvious, Marty.
I know,
Obvious.
James. I called this weeks ago and said it, and everyone was like, "Mate, I've had so much grief over this deal. I wish I never said it in the first place. Honestly, you wouldn't understand." And now, thank God, it's happening. We actually will have a mate. He's some sort of player. He is. Do you know what I really like about Eze as a player? I think he's going to be that player for us that has the ability to unlock defenses. You know, when we play teams with low blocks that sit 11 men behind the ball and they just want to defend, defend, and defend and defend. He's that kind of player that will be able to pick up. There we go. There's the news. There we
It
go.
was sorry, Marty.
That's
It was so obvious. I couldn't believe. I was like, why are people not seeing this? Like, he will solve so many problems
Oh, he
for us.
does.
He is going to be a starting left winger for us. He can play up front as a false nine. He can play in the 10 or on the left to move other players. Hell, if you love Marino up front so much, people, you can have that so that Eze can cover left 8. He solves so much. Thank you, Arsenal. I mean, by the way, it doesn't. Let me make this very clear. It doesn't mean we're going to get him because we've just
No.
made a move. Who knows what kind of a mess we're going to make over the negotiation of the deal and everything. But like, this is a big update. Arsenal have made a move for Eze, and the 27-year-old wants them. Thank you. Tottenham lined up the deal, but after Havertz injury, Arsenal are closing in. If he proceeds with his choice, which he wants us, then Tottenham will pursue other targets. This is great news. Firstly, it's a lovely, just
It's
like
made your day, isn't it, James? I'll tell you what. How you came on this stream like the whole world today was about to end, and
no,
now
but
you're a different man, completely different
Marty,
man.
everyone who's gonna watch this full stream back is gonna say, "Fuck me, his take aged so well," because that's exactly what I've been wanting. I'm taking full credit for this. Berta, I know you've been watching the streams, man. Appreciate it, bro. Thank you for tuning in. I know it's the Italian connection we got. Appreciate it. Listen, Marty, I've ranted on. You can tell I'm excited about this one. Give me your reaction to this, man.
Fantastic news, fantastic. Like I said, he's a dynamic player that plays across the front three, and
Yeah.
and the perfect player in this situation. Do you know what you dare I say it? You know, now we're buying Eze. We were looking to get him as a left winger and sort out the left hand side, and now it looks like we'll be playing him at times as a false nine.
Yeah, yeah.
Work
He
that one
might
out.
be. He might be
Work that one.
genuinely.
No, he will. Trust me. He will be. But no, it's a fantastic move. And listen, the deal goes ahead, which I've always, yeah, look, I believe it will. And
Well, let's see if it goes ahead. But
let's see if it gets done. There's these deals are always complicated, and they're never as simple as that. That also, yeah, look, getting that player will change Arsenal Football Club and our ambitions for this season, without a doubt. Being able to bring in a player of that caliber, for me, the move makes perfect sense. He's 27 years old. You know, he's at that age of a football player's career where you want to go for that big money move. You want to go to no disrespect to Crystal Palace. I really rate Crystal Palace, but you know, you want to go to a big club like Arsenal. He's got, you know, he's now should be in the prime of his life. We all know the story that he was at Arsenal for years, and you know,
and it's a great
hopefully
story.
hopefully has a point to prove to come back to the Arsenal, and to fire us onto Premier League or Champions League, or preferably both glory, and go on from there. You know, it's lovely to see. It really is.
That honestly, there's no one I wanted more. Like there's absolutely no player I wanted more. After what I saw us do with the Madueke
Not
signing and Gyökeres coming in, for me it had to be Eberechi Eze. There was a point where I preferred Rodrigo as a signing, but when I saw that we got Madueke, I thought, okay, what does this squad lack then? And I thought
yeah.
Eze's the one. Wow, well done, Arsenal. Well, at least they're trying. I mean, let's see if they get it done.
Yeah, let's
But
see. Listen,
I'm very
don't turn around until he's actually in an Arsenal shirt. That's when I'll believe the deal's done and dusted. When he is literally sitting there in an Arsenal shirt. Oh, you know,
But hey,
the
it's
classic. It's great that
you're not going to give yourself
Ornstein's. What's that?
you're not going to give yourself a little bit of credit, mate.
What for?
Well, for calling it, no.
Well, look, I actually called it, and I've had a lot of grief for this. What happened, and I don't want to go into the story.
Go on.
I got told that the deal was done, that I got told that the player wants to go to Arsenal. Arsenal want the player, and Palace wanted to sell the player to Arsenal. Okay, but that was when I said it. I said it on the Invincible podcast, and Robbie was like, "Who's your sources?" Which and that's legitimately what I heard. But then things changed, and then Tottenham came in strong for him, and it looked like the deal wasn't going to happen. But it was my understanding when I said that it was basically sort of done and dusted. But something changed, and a lot of that had to do with, I think, the emergence of Max Dowman and Arsenal just looking at that. But then obviously now this is kind of it's a checkmate situation where potentially Arsenal Football Club are now going, look, we need to get this player because he is one player that will solve a variety of problems on the left hand side, and throughout the middle and in our attacking areas that we need to. So yeah, I'll be a very, very happy boy when he turns up to the carpet in an Arsenal shirt.
Come on, Arsenal, get this done. Get this done. Yeah. These are the moves we want. These are the moves we want. Like, it makes sense. I can't say it without repeating myself for the 200th time. It makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh, this is great news. This is great news. Okay, let's go. I mean, so many Eze 10. Give him the 10 shirt, man. He's coming home, people. Well, let's hope he's coming home. We don't know if he's coming home yet. Let's hope he's coming home. But I want to clear this up.
The elation, putting a breaking scoop on a live, James. You're just the man for this, isn't you? Just the man in the media. It's just what you do.
Look, the excitement isn't because I've read that and thought, right, done and dusted, we've got him. Tottenham have been aggressive in trying to sign him. Arsenal are, we can ruin a deal. So, there's still some bits to do here. But the reason I'm excited is because I'm so glad that Arsenal have made a move because they see that as a sensible solution to the problem. I really, really feared we were going to go for a Vlahovic for 10 million, a Jackson and Kunku loan, or nothing. Think we might have enough. I was really scared that Arsenal were going to look at it and go, well, our priorities are away from the 10 because Waneri signed a new contract because we need to do something in the in the front three, and Eze doesn't quite fit what we need. And I just think, fuck that. Eze is a top player who can impact the final third, and you get him in that team somehow. And I just like that we're looking at that in that correct way, in what I believe is the correct way. Let's see if it gets done. But the world of Twitter is exploding right now about Eze. Let's go through some super chats very quickly. I know some of them might have aged badly because they came in earlier, but quickly. How about Benzema and Draxler? Yeah, very, very good. And I like this. Must get Eze. This came in before the news. If no one else this window, go all out for Rodrigo next summer because 100 million is too much. You are right. We must get Eze. We're going for him. Play Martinez as a striker. If Eze comes in, he might have to play there. All I know is we're really not getting a left winger. I think you're right. We're getting a 10. Here we go. James, why do you keep saying we need a 10 more than a left winger? In pre-season, people were giving 3s and 4s for the left wing performance and 6 and 10 for Ethan and Martin. It's a fair question, but I'm feeling all smug because we are getting a 10 who can also play on the left wing.
Oh, James, I don't think you care what anyone would say right about now, do you?
A little bit I would. But look, it's not that we need an out 10, so we need a left winger, a 10 who can play on the left wing. Eze does that. How many low block teams do Crystal Palace play? Don't know, but we're going to find out how many Eze is going to face, we hope. It's a lot, and we'll see how he does. Eze 10, baby. Rodrigo loan to follow. Okay, well, let's see. Sadiq says, great news. This makes me very happy. Eze is red and white. We hope so. I've got tears in my eyes. Eze is coming home, people. So happy. Joe Wright, I hope you're absolutely spot on and it does get over the line. Eze left wing, Cam, false 9. Bless Super Saiyan Kai. Okay, obviously we wish Kai all the best. We hope he's back soon, but it sounds like what happened with Kai has been the springboard for this deal moving ahead. Joe Wright says, my Spurs friend is bloody fuming, haha, in your face. Yeah, love it. Uh, yeah, I
Do you know what? I actually had a Spurs a friend of mine on Saturday, and he was like, "Wait till Monday. Eze's done. He's coming. You're going to see him in a shirt." Don't look like it now, does it?
and this will hurt Tottenham because they've missed out on
Oh,
Gibbs White. Savinho now looks like he's going to stay at City, and Eze is going to pick Arsenal if we can get a deal done. It will hurt them if it gets done. But yeah, we're excited, man, and rightly so.
I think generally when David Ornstein comes out with something like that and makes it, it's looking very good, mate. It's looking very
Yeah,
good. This deal has had quite a few twists and turns in it.
yeah, yeah, it has, and this is something that's been going on all summer, and this is someone who has shown up for Palace, has played the Community Shield, played the game against Chelsea, and has just kind of very quietly gone about his business. That is not a dig at players like Gyökeres or Isak who were more forceful for their moves, but he's going to leave with the love of the Palace fan base, and he's going to come home to we hope, I have to keep saying it, to a
It's
club
coming home, man.
that are very, very excited and welcoming him with open arms.
He's get. Do you know what? On that, for one thing as well as a football player, for Eberechi Eze to come back to Arsenal, and he will be so loved by the fan base. Not that he isn't a Palace, like obviously Palace fans, absolutely. I spoke to a couple of Palace fans today, and they were like, "You're not having him. He can't leave, and he's a really important player for them." But but coming to Arsenal Football Club. I mean, the shirt sales alone on Eze, if that goes through, but how loved he will be as a player. But he will have to perform as well. You're coming to a club like Arsenal. There's going to be big, huge expectations for him to do a job.
Yeah, I totally agree. What if we sign him? What's your prediction for the title race?
Do you know what, James? I'm going to be honest with you. That until Havertz got injured, I did generally think that we're going to win it, and I'll tell you why.
Go on.
Right? Because the goalkeeper situation, the backup goalkeeper situation last season, Neto, with all due respect to Neto, he
Yeah,
was not good at all. And the one game that he played, I think I would have done a better job than he
he
did.
was shocking that Champions League game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
against Girona, three. It was terrible. His ball distribution, his handling, he looked shaky. He looked worse than Aaron Ramsdale ever did at his most nervous points.
yeah,
That with Kepa. Kepa's a decent goalkeeper. Look, everyone says, "Oh, he wasn't." When he was at Chelsea, he's a very young lad. He wasn't fully developed. He was quite underdeveloped actually. He was a great reaction shot stopper, but he wasn't good in the air. Obviously, when you haven't got the strength. But when you look at him now, he's a unit. He's a tough. He's the kind of goalkeeper that will come out, gather crosses, like what we saw with Ballon d'Or at Old Trafford on against Raya. Raya, there was a very similar situation, but where Bandier flapped it. What he should have done instead of trying to put a hand to it is even if he had just got a fist to it, he would have got it at 5-6 yards outside the box, away from the immediate danger, which was the onrushing Calafiori to get to stick his head on it. Now we move into so Kepa is that good a goalkeeper. He's won the Champions League at Real Madrid. He's won things. He's come to Arsenal, and what a buy at 5 million quid. Then you go across the back, the back four. Obviously, listen, we don't need to talk about William Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes. We just do not need to mention a word about them two. We know exactly what time it is when it comes to them two, right? Then you look at the right back and left back. Look what we saw on Saturday. I said it earlier on the stream, so I'm not going to repeat it. But that changeability. Then you add in a Mascara, right, to that strength. And obviously, let's not forget Kiwior. I don't want to sell Kiwior. I like Kiwior. I really do. I rate him. Like last season, he done a fantastic job for us against Real Madrid. He is a player that can come in. He's a top player. And do I want him starting every week? No, obviously, we know who needs to start. But he will do a job. And when you look at that back, that back line, and it doesn't need any more players. It's full. We need to get rid of Zinchenko. That's my understanding of the situation. He's excess. He's surplus to requirements, and that's no disrespect to him. Okay, then you like move into the midfield. Like what I really like seeing in midfield in the pre-season, I understand it's pre-season, is Norgard. What he came in and did, the job that he did. You know, he's a captain at Brentford who will be sorely missed. He's a slightly different player from Zubimendi, but again, then Zubimendi, you know, this is a player that's been courted by Liverpool, Real Madrid, and what on Sunday, for me, he just went about his business very quietly. He got smashed in the face, you know, early on, which is welcome to the Premier League, Zubimendi. You know, well, Zubi, this is a tough league, and that's why, because it's physical. Not that La Liga isn't, because you know, it is, but he does a lot of work, which kind of, you know, remember what Gilberto Silva wouldn't used to sort of get a lot of praise for the work that he did in midfield. It was always your Vieiras, but Gilberto would sit there, he'd clean stuff up, he'd move the ball around, he'd just be a fantastic player. And then obviously you've got the likes of Declan Rice and Odegaard, and you know the reinforcements. Then buying Gyökeres, I can't wait to see this guy have a run of games and to see what's going to happen. We don't need to talk about Saka. We know what this guy can do. The Madueke situation, whether he's on the right or left, and you know what? I do want to see Max Dowman get some game time for this season and to see what he can bring to the side. What we saw in pre-season, that he can come on, he can nick you a penalty, he'll run rings around a few defenders, he doesn't really care, he has no sort of filter when it comes to respect for, you know, experienced professional football players. So give me the ball and I'll have a go at you, and I'm not going to show you any respect. I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna try and tear you to bits, and I'm gonna have fun doing it. And at the same time, if I can nick a penalty and stick it in the back of the net, then all's good. The only part that was the only doubt was, now this Eze situation gives us complete versatility up front with Kai Havertz. Now, look, Kai Havertz being injured, Jesus being injured, you know, Eze, you can play him as a false nine, you can play him as a 10, you can play him on the left, you can play him on the right. It's just that player you can play anywhere. You know, Madueke is sort of slightly unproven for us in a way, but yeah, look, it's gonna, that now, definitely. I don't see why we can't. We just went to don't forget as well, we just went to Old Trafford on Sunday, sorry, and we won the game at Old Trafford in a really messy way. It wasn't like, you know, it was hard to watch at times, but that's what title winning teams do. They find a way to grind out results where they necessarily, the season before, or, you know, the teams that don't win the league don't get those points in those situations. Now, I do believe that is, you know, in seasons, saying that, it's not last season, the season before, we went there and we did win 1-0. It was never a game that we were going to win 2, 3, 4, 5-0. It just doesn't happen at Old Trafford. But this is a place that we historically find it very tough to go. That gives me the way we played, and we got away with it. And Man U did go at us. Their front line, like Kuna, like he was rare with that save. He was so, Kuna was unlucky to hit the back of the net. At times, Bueno had Calafiori. Calafiori was really good at holding Bueno. You know, and stopping him from attacking. When he picked up a booking, I think it was obvious that Lewis Skelly was going to come on at some point. And I just like that versatility. I like that change. And now you add Eze to, you know, if that happens, it changes it.
Let's see. So the current reports are, let me give you everything. Romano, Arsenal have approached Crystal Palace today to sign Eberechi Eze. Surprise move follows Kai Havertz knee injuries. Arsenal tried to offer more to both player and Palace to try win the race against Tottenham. Negotiations underway, as David Ornstein reported. Sammy Mockbell, Arsenal closing in on move for Eberechi Eze. Crystal Palace forward prefers Arsenal move. Sources indicate deal is around 60 million. Now, the article from David Ornstein says Arsenal have made their move for Eberechi Eze and the player wants to join them. Spurs had the conditions of a deal agreed with Palace today and the player, but are ready to move on to alternative targets if Eze chooses Arsenal. Arsenal have indicated a willingness to meet the conditions and he wants to join them, leaving Spurs with little option but to look elsewhere. We're going to pretty much round it off on that, guys, but that is all the news. To sum up, if we get Eze, rate the window out of 10 now, Marty.
It's hard. Look, that is a really hard question to answer until essentially the season's finished. Because if you turn around and say, "Oh, it's been a 9," which realistically you can't argue with. We've reinforced the goalkeeper, the back line, the midfield, and the forwards. That's we've done some serious. Let's say Eze happens, that's done and dusted, and he, he's in an Arsenal shirt. We've brought in a serious amount of players. I don't think you'd really want to bring in any more players because you end up changing the ethos of how you play. I remember Arsene Wenger used to always talk about it. You make too many changes, it can also be detrimental. So I'd like to say 9, but then you can only fully judge it at the end of the season. But from what I've seen, yeah, definitely a solid 8. But
I'll give it an 8/9, probably a 9.
Yeah, that's it.
Because I'd have said you've got a striker that scores goals, a starting left winger in Eze, but also a number 10 in Eze, a right winger / left winger in a different mold in Madueke, Zubimendi, one of the best sixes in the world, Norgard as cover, very dependable, Mosquera, one of the best young defenders coming through with Kepa. I mean, what more could you want for backup? I'd have said, you know what? That's pretty bloody special. So let's see. We're going to round it off there, guys. A big thank you. We're going to go through super chats actually very quickly before I round it off. That's very important. Absolutely. Where did I get to? My first friend is fuming. Right. I could see 65-70% of Eze starts coming at left wing, to be honest. So could I, NCUSA Gunner, kind of like the idea of watching a front three of Saka, Eze, and Noni in a game. Why not? That number 10 was written for him, says O2 Ams. I've never felt so happy about a signing ever. This tops Ozil, Aubameyang, and Alexis, says Joe Wright. That's an interesting one. I don't know if it tops them. They were. But
do you remember that Ozil on deadline day? That was crazy.
That was nuts. Absolutely nuts.
11 o'clock at night. Oh
yeah, what a day! I'll never forget that. Orny Bomb Eze, he's going to transform our attack. A super chat with no comment, but thank you very, very much. Eze, Erdegaard 10, Rodrigo Lone, Trossard left wing, Glock 14 and Nelly backup striker till Havertz is back. Rodrigo Lone needs an option to buy. What do you think about that? Listen, it'd be unbelievable if we did that. But if we stopped at Eze, I couldn't complain. That was the last missing piece I wanted. I was not happy at Eze. I'm extremely happy. That's how much I rate the signing. Marty, go on.
No, go on. You can
I was going to say a big thank you for joining us, but I feel like you're going to ask me a question.
I was. Just a quick one. I know it might be a little bit premature, but what's your thoughts and feelings about Leeds, the 5:30 kickoff on Saturday, the first game back at the carpet?
Well, I'm on the preview tomorrow, so you can all see it then.
Oh, tune in.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. This will energize the Emirates for sure, but let's see if it gets done.
And I love that, James. You don't like giving anything away. You're just, and that's it. Everyone,
you got to tune in for the next show, guys.
You have tune in and check out the latest AFTV content featuring the main man inside the Izzle, Mr. James B.
Oh, very kind. Listen, Marty, it's been a pleasure having you, man. Thank you. What a show, man. As a bomber dropping like that as we're live. It's just typical, isn't it? But thank you, guys. You'll see Marty on a lot of the watch-alongs. You'll see him on fan cams as well, outside the ground. I know you'll be at the Emirates on the weekend. Invincible podcast, all that.
We've got the Invincibles. I'm on the Invincible podcast with Mr. Robbie Lyle. So check that out. Whether that's going to get released tomorrow or Friday, that's going to be big. That's going to be huge. Then I'll be on the pre-match starting 11 on Saturday in the studio, and then we are going to the Emirates, and potentially there might be a new bit of content that might be road tested. So keep tuned, stay tuned for that. It's going to be awesome, and whatever it's going to be crazy. So check it out.
Perfect, guys. A big thank you for tuning in. Eze could well be a gunner. What a turnaround for this stream. What a turnaround. Okay, let's hope it happens. All right, love, guys. I'll catch you on a bit. See you very soon.